Welcome back to tutorial 3 for the road design. You can use the dataset that you've previously created in the previous, or you can use the dataset that I've set up. So here you can see the dataset that we've got open, and I've got the DR4 file as well as the DT8 which you made earlier, and then there's a DESSEC and a DES8 and a SEC8. We also have some Excel files which we will cover a bit later because we want to save some time. So let's quickly open up that project. You can see I just dragged and dropped the DR4 into the project to open it up. I then go to roads mode, and then I go to tools, edit or template editor. So this is your basis of your cross section of your road. You can see you've got single carriageway, dual carriageway, and dual crowned carriageways. We're going to make it a single carriageway. We're going to make it 3 meters in width, and we're going to keep 2% cross fall, camber. We're then going to go to the curbs. There's no curbs loaded, so I'm going to go to this location and go to the SABS curbs. We've also got the British standard curves as well. We can just open those up. You can choose which curves you want. So different curves you can have on different projects. Now I'm opening all the different types of curves. So there I've loaded all the 3 groups. I could just copy that and paste it on the other side as well. So you got your curb as well. Then we're going to look at that was for the compulsory, because we always want to have curbs. Curbs are always going to come in if you have them. And then for the compulsory, like a sidewalk for instance, you could have a sidewalk. Here we're going to just put a little crossfill grade on the side, so as a sidewalk, and that's going to be in the compulsory, left compulsory. I'm going to mirror it to the other side because I want it to also be on the right compulsory. Compulsory meaning that whether you're in cut or fill, you're always going to have a sidewalk. Just deleting those now, and we can put some of the newer road components in. I can drag a road component. Road components work similar to the lines that we had, except you've got layer works now as well, so you can have volumes for your sidewalks. You can add the ground to see what the cut and fill conditions would look like. You can then look at the left cut. So what would you like to happen during your left cut? We can add a condition. We can say from 0 minimum to a max of 1 meter. We want to have a slope, and we want to have an offset of 5. Accept that, and you'll see there it changes now. Now you've got 2 conditions, 0 to 1 and 1 to 999. 999 representing your total, your absolute maximum. The data button is for the older users. They didn't have the graphical interface. They used to have to type everything out. And here you can see I'm doing the manual method of typing in all that information that we had earlier. So this is the second way of typing in your conditions. The first way I showed you is more of a graphical way, and I prefer it. If I look on the right hand side now, you've got your right condition, and then we've got our left cut, which we can also add an extra condition. So you can imagine for deep cuts, you would probably want to put some road components like gabions or retaining walls in. So that way you can have, for a shallow cut, just put a side drain. For larger cuts, deeper cuts, you could have gabions or rock-filled gabions, and then for even larger, you could have retaining structures. So that's the reason we have different slope conditions, because at different depths you want to have different side conditions. Okay, we're going to import our road layer works. So I'm going to bring this in from File. We've got different layer works that are standard. You are welcome to create your own layer works or just use the ones from the industry standards. I'm doing a left shift because I don't want it to be a square box cut of the road. I want it to be stepped, and there you can see you've got your stepping of your layer works. If we can, you can then test your ground to see how it will look for cut and fill situations on the left and on the right. You can then save your template as, and we can go and save that into our folder, into your delegate data set. If you don't have one, you can create one of those folders just to save all your data in. If we look at we've now created a template, but we haven't pathed it into our project. So now we're going to path that template into our project, and now it has been pathed into our project. We need to go to the road control panel. So first, let's have a look at this road. I went to File, select Road File, and there we can see we can give the road, remove the generic name and just give it an actual name. We're going to put the curbs here again. This is another place where you can place the curbs. This is if you want to start the model straight out. So I'm just putting the design criteria for my road in, and I'm going to call this road layer 1, which is the natural ground. So I'm going to make an extraction of the natural ground and store that in road layer 1. Road layer number 2 for this road, I'm going to have the final design road levels stored in them. Okay, so I'm going to switch off the interactive road expert because I don't want the model to be created directly. I want to go through the process a bit slower. I've switched off the design criteria for now, and I'm going to go and show you how to, this is where you would normally work with the roads, putting in the PIs, but we're going to just right click and read into CSV this project. Somebody's already worked out the horizontal alignment for us, and now we need to go and coordinate. I'm going to coordinate every 10 meters the road alignment, and let's put that through. Now that we've done that, we can review the alignment. So this is if you're going to a design review meeting, you print these out. If you had your design criteria switched on, it would flag where the possible problems for your design speed would be. I've got the road switched on in the display settings, and we can also have the curves if we want to. I'm going to have these items switched on for the road itself for a single carriageway, and I'm going to just change these values to match the manual. Okay, so we just want banks at the ends of our roads for the tow lines, so we're just putting the banks on that as well. You see the layers I've used to display road layer 1, and we're using PLC codes, which we discuss further in other training, but for now that's perfectly fine. And we just put the end there so that if there's any movements of the vertical alignments, it will update. We're going to extract the cross sections along that route now, so we're going to go and extract the natural ground. We're going to store that in road layer 1, We're going to have the start chainage to the end chainage, and then you can also start 20 meters to the left or 20 meters to the right. Sometimes you probably want to do 50 meters left, 50 meters right. So let's extract that out, and now we can go to your actual cross sections, and there you can see we've extracted the ground, and we are storing that in road layer 1. In most projects, it's better to store the natural ground in road layer 1. Okay, so now we need to look at the vertical. So we're gonna see that the vertical, you would normally go and insert PIs and all your bend points, but to save time, I'd like you just to import the file. Somebody has already created the vertical alignments and saved it as an Excel file, which you can just import for now, but not in the real world environment. So now you've generated your vertical alignments. You can exaggerate so that you can see with an exaggeration of your Z values how this is looking. You can also change your display settings at this stage. You can choose to see minus 5.5 and 5.5 so we can see what the ground is doing in those locations. Vertical alignment is also very important for stormwater reasons. If it's a highway, you want to be above the ground, out of the 100-year flood. If it's a municipal road, you actually want to be carrying water, so you want to be lower than the natural ground, and you want that to act as a stormwater drain for everything above the 1 and 2 year flood, because that flows underground, and everything up to 1 and 20 year floods. But that depends on which municipality you're dealing with and the type of road you're dealing with. Okay, so we look at the crossfalls. We can see that we've got -2, so this is going to be a camber road because it's -2 left and -2 right from the start to the end, and we've also got our widths that we've set up. So everything in this control panel, this edge control panel, supersedes anything else that you've created earlier today. So if your curbs change here, they will take on the values from here, or the items you've used from the control panel, the edge control panel. Okay, so we can then set up to apply our template. We want to apply this template to the road. So now it's applying the template to the horizontal and vertical alignments and creating a 3D model for you. It's also created layer works for you as well. In the newer training manuals, we'll show you a much faster way to do that. But for now, this is perfectly fine. You'll still get the same values. So there you got your total cut and your total fill. So there's your volumes report that you can produce. You can also produce a layer works report. There's your different layer works, your different cut and fill values for your layer works. Shouldn't say cut and fill values, but your bottom selected is normally depending on whether you're in cut and fill, and that's why we separate the two. Okay, so no good project is worth anything if you can't automate the drafting. So that's what the sheet files are for. You can create sheet files to automate your drafting to your company standards. And here you can see we've got we're going to auto scroll to next page so that it will plot along that road for you. Just giving it an item number, and here you can see it's created all the cross sections, drafted it up for you. This would normally take weeks if you're doing it manually, drafting it, but Civil Designer automates this for you. Okay, I'd like to have a look at the single carriageway long section now of the road. So we'll look at the long section. Here you need to set up what you want to display. I'm just switching off some of these items because I want to plot it, but I don't necessarily want the values. So plotting means it creates the CAD line. The label means it gives data at the bottom in the band sets, and then you need to show what data you want to show. You can have elevations, chainage, offset, and so on. So here you can see it's created the long section for you, and it's brought all the data out for you for the road design. Okay, you can create a site plan as well. So we can plot generate, we can choose site plan, and we need to show where about we want this to be. Let me zoom out a bit. That can adjust the rotation if you want, but that's fine for now. And right click quit. There, your site plan is done. You could probably zoom in a bit better and plot along the alignment to create a closer one, but that is good for now for learning. Thank you very much for your time.